The news coming out of TCO Performance Center today has left many of us feeling a bit uneasy about the state of our wide receiver room. We all hoped the visit from a certain physical playmaker would end with a pin hitting paper, but the reality is much different. As someone who has walked these halls for years, I can tell you the vibe has shifted toward a quiet urgency. We need stability behind our stars, and right now, that third spot remains a very dangerous question mark for us. Jauan Jennings was supposed to be the missing piece to this puzzle, but unfortunately, he left Minnesota without a contract. While insiders like Darren Wolfson report that the conversations went well, the lack of a signed deal means the front office has to pivot immediately. This situation directly affects Justin Jefferson, because without a reliable third option, defenses can continue to shade coverage toward him, and Jordan Addison without any fear of being punished. We saw this last year when the offense would stall, because nobody else could consistently separate from coverage. The organization knows they cannot afford to waste another year of prime talent by being thin at the position. Looking at the current roster, we have Ty Felton, who was a third-round selection back in 2025. However, his rookie campaign was incredibly quiet, recording only 2 catches for minimal yardage. The fact that the leadership invited a veteran in for a visit is a massive telltale sign that they do not believe the young guy is ready for a full-time role. This leaves us looking at the free agent market, where several big names are still waiting for a phone call. Deebo Samuel is perhaps the most intriguing and explosive name available. He has spent time with the 49ers and the Commanders, showing he can be a dual-threat weapon as both a receiver and a runner. Even though he is 30 years old and has a history of lower body injuries, his physical style of play is exactly what this offense lacks. Then there is the veteran presence of Keenan Allen. He is 34 now and coming off a stint in Chicago and a return to the Chargers. Last season, he proved he can still catch 80 balls and provide a massive target in the red zone. Finally, we have DeAndre Hopkins, who has already expressed a strong desire to reunite with our new quarterback, KYLER Murray. They had incredible chemistry together in Arizona a few years back, and having that familiarity could be a game changer for this passing attack. The front office has the salary cap space to make a move, but the clock is ticking as we get closer to the season. Every day without a signing is a day we risk being one-dimensional and predictable for opponents. The failure to secure a deal during that recent visit creates a ripple effect that touches every part of the offensive game plan. If the team decides to stand pat and hope for internal growth, they are essentially gambling with the health and productivity of their existing stars. We have seen what happens when an offense becomes predictable in the NFC North. When a defense knows they only have to worry about 2 primary targets, they can get creative with their blitz packages and double teams. This puts a massive physical toll on the starters, as they have to fight through more contact and run more high-intensity routes just to get open. He needs a running mate who can win on third down when the primary red is taken away. Imagine a scenario where a veteran is sitting in the slot, forcing a linebacker or a safety to stay home instead of roaming toward the sidelines. That space is where the magic happens for this team, and without it, the windows become much smaller. The front office is clearly aware of this, which is why they have been doing their homework on the remaining free agents. The options available are not just stopgaps. They are players with high-level experience who have played in some of the biggest games in football history. Adding a player of that caliber would change the entire dynamic of the locker room. It would give the younger players a mentor to watch and learn from every single day in practice. It would also take the pressure off the coaching staff to design complex schemes just to get a third receiver open. Sometimes you just need a guy who can win a one-on-one battle at the line of scrimmage. That is what was missing last year, and it seems to be the primary focus of this search. The money is there, the interest from certain players like the former Arizona star is there, and the need is undeniable. We are watching a high-stakes game of poker between the team and the market. If they wait too long, these veterans might sign elsewhere, leaving the Vikings with no choice but to rely on unproven talent. This risk is very real, and it is very dangerous for the entire team. Direct consequences are what truly matter to us as fans who have watched this team through thick and thin. If the front office cannot find a way to bring in a veteran, the burden on the passing game becomes almost impossible to carry. We have seen seasons fall apart because 1 or 2 injuries exposed a lack of depth, and right now, the depth chart at receiver is looking very thin. If the starters have to play every single snap without a breather, they will wear down by the time November and December roll around. This is a league where games are won in the fourth quarter, and you need fresh legs to make those game-winning plays. Bringing in a proven target would help us win more games simply by keeping the chains moving and the clock running. It prevents the defense from getting tired because the offense can actually sustain long drives. Think about the impact on the scoreboard when we have a big-bodied target in the red zone who can outjump a defender for a touchdown. That is the difference between a field goal and 7 points. Over the course of a full season, those points add up to 2 or 3 extra wins. Those wins are usually the difference between watching the playoffs from home and hosting a game at US Bank Stadium. The older veterans on the market might not be the superstars they once were, but they know how to find the soft spots in a zone defense. They know how to use their bodies to shield the ball from a defender. These are simple things that young players often struggle with during their first few years. By adding a veteran, we are essentially buying insurance for the season. It is about making sure that if something goes wrong, the whole ship does not sink. The fans deserve to see an explosive offense that can attack every part of the field. We want to see the purple and gold back at the top of the division, and that requires having a complete roster. The decision made in the next few weeks will determine if this offense has the firepower to compete with every opponent in this league. There are 2 very distinct paths this story could take, and both carry an emotional weight for the faithful in Minnesota. In the best-case scenario, the front office reaches an agreement with one of these high-profile veterans soon. Imagine the excitement of seeing a multi-time Pro Bowler lining up alongside our current stars. It would immediately signal to the rest of the league that the Vikings are going all in for a championship run. The energy in the building would be electric, and the confidence of our new quarterback would skyrocket, knowing he has a reliable safety valve on every play. This move would solidify the offense and make us one of the most dangerous teams in the NFC. But if this search fails, the worst-case scenario is a grim reality we have faced before. We would be heading into the season hoping and praying that a young player who only caught 2 passes last year can suddenly become a heavy contributor. That is a massive weight to put on someone who has not proven he can handle the speed of the NFL yet. If the offense sputters and the passing game becomes easy to defend, the frustration in the stands will be palpable. We have seen how a stagnant offense can drain the energy out of a stadium and leave the defense exhausted. The tension is building because every day that passes without a signing is a day of lost preparation. These veterans need time to learn the playbook and develop timing with the quarterback. It is not something that happens overnight. We are at a crossroads where the right decision could lead to a deep playoff run, while the wrong one could result in another year of what-if and missed opportunities. The stakes are incredibly high, and the margin for error is razor-thin. We have all seen this story before, but this time, the pieces are in place for something special if they can just fix this one glaring hole. The loyalty of the fans is being tested once again as we wait for news that could change everything forever in Minnesota today. This situation with the wide receiver search has put the entire Vikings community on edge as we look toward the upcoming season. We started with the hope of bringing in a physical veteran, only to see him leave the building without a deal in place. Now, we are looking at a market filled with aging stars who still have plenty of gas left in the tank. The dilemma is simple. Do we trust the youth and risk another quiet year from the supporting cast, or do we spend the money to bring in a proven winner who can help us now? As an insider who follows this team's every move, I can see the arguments for both sides, but the risk of doing nothing feels far too high. Be honest with me. Would you trust a rookie with only 2 career catches to be the primary target when the game is on the line? It is a tough question that every fan is asking right now. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates as this story develops. Don't forget to hit those notifications so you never miss a beat on your Vikings. Skol!